that booty. Booyah! Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Nowadays, almost every single video game has at the very least some type of gut-wrenching amount of gore in it. It would be impossible to try to thin down to a list of just 10. Fortunately, the internet is so vast that this is actually not as hard as it seems. Now of course, some of the games you may have never heard of, but that's the point, right? This is the top 10 of the most violent video games ever conceived. And remember, this video is not for those with weak cunts. Weak cunts, I totally just said that. Crappy graphics aside, this diamond in the rough indie game was hosted in various flash game sites, but of course was ever notorious for its many types of methods of killing your victim. The torture game gets a bit of a creep factor when you can actually upload an image of any person's face, and sure enough, they are your victim now. Soldier of Fortune was and is still considered to be one of the turning points in realistic gore and blood physics in gaming. Using the new ghoul system, Soldier of Fortune allowed gamers to completely devour and, for the lack of a better term, absolutely destroy their enemies down to the cunt bone. Cunt bone. There goes another one. This game may not be remembered for its story, but damn, was it gross. Universally acclaimed and loved, Grand Theft Auto set the standard for street crime violence and has been amidst heavy lawsuits from all sides of the political world. But what's better than killing a hooker after sex and then robbing the money you had just given her? Even though it would have been easier just not giving her the money in the first place and killing her then. I digress. Grand Theft Auto, leading cause of video game hooker deaths since, well, forever. Mad World has got to be one of the most aesthetically pleasing than most of the other games listed because of its visual style and comical approach to violence. Still pretty violent though. And by pretty, I mean full blown, you know what I mean. Although most of its gore is bound to its multiplayer, the Gears of War trilogy will be forever remembered for introducing an assault rifle with the freaking chainsaw as its melee weapon. To name a few acts of violence in this game: sawing a person in half, stomping their head to a mushy mess, rape, and last but not least, boom, headshot. Speaking of chainsaws, Resident Evil 4 in particular, introduced us to completely different ways of dying, all of which brutal and blech. I've yet to see another game that literally makes me yelp in pain. Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat. An indisputed classic, its famous fatalities, babalities, and animalities has made this franchise recognized for its brutal violence. It's also very, very addicting. Fortunately, it's yet another game that has suffered numerous lawsuits. This game goes way back in a time where things weren't as heavy as they were now. Imagine how people first felt when they saw a blue ninja rip the spinal cord out of another person. Their minds must have been absolutely blown. The OG of the OGs in gaming, Doom began the culture of a cohesive violent narrative. That being, if you don't slaughter demons, the world's gonna end. And of course, there's no backstory. This game was released in the 80s, making it the older of the bunch, but it should be recognized for garnering first public eye of violent video gaming. Unlike Mortal Kombat, Thrill Kill was banned in almost every aspect before it could get in the hands of the public, simply because it was just too much. Besides the gore, there were many explicitly sexual fatalities, but nevertheless, people were still able to get to play it. And possibly at no surprise, Postal 2 is the #1 most violent game ever made. This game is the core of an absolutely bloody, gory, disturbing video game. It sets the standard and takes gore to a far more different and higher level. You can literally do whatever you want in this game. Think Grand Theft Auto only in first person and about a million times more violent in every aspect. Postal 2 is downright mental and is deservedly the most violent video game of all time. Well, that was my list of the most violent video games. Agree? Disagree? Let me know what your most violent video game of all time is, as I would love to masturbate to it. Who wrote this script? Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more countdowns and Let's Plays, and I'd appreciate it greatly if you hit the like button. Again, thanks everyone. Until next time, ya cunt bounds!